Peace, family. Thank you for joining us again in another episode. Today's information is called Cancer, Pineal Gland, Sunglasses, and Chemtrails Decoded. Hope you like the information. Please share the group, share the live feed on your groups, so that everybody could get a hold of the information. Is greatly appreciated. With that said, let's continue. Cancer, Pineal Gland, Sunglasses, and Chemtrails Decoded. You can follow me on YouTube or Facebook, either one. You can find me on YouTube under Sergio Campos, as well as under Tasmaniac, and on Facebook as well. Now on Facebook, I only accept friend requests from people that are referred to me by somebody that's already in my friend list. Otherwise, just follow me. Most of my posts, at least the important ones, are always are always public feeds. So there wouldn't be no need for a friend request or anything like that. Just follow me. It is greatly appreciated. Like I said, just share the video, and hope you like the information. Let me turn off the music so we could begin. And with that said, let's start. Chemtrails. Now, everyone asks me, why am I so worried about people believing chemtrails? Well, reality is that your disbelief affects me, my children, and everyone that understands what's really going on. So, let's get into the true science of of why it affects everyone when we continue to ignore the obvious. Not what we can't prove, like what really is the composition of what these planes are throwing. Fuck all that. We're gonna get into the obvious stuff anyone can figure out. Once we figure this out, we can worry about the other stuff that's a little harder to find the truth too. Can't none of us go up in the air and run no tests or anything like that. So those kind of proofs are more so theories. There isn't anything that we could really say that would be factual. It would just be a theory of something that we believe on. But with that said, what is it that these chemtrails are doing that we could actually prove that is doing? Today was an ugly day in Chicago. It was real gloomy. It still is. It's been raining all day. It's been completely cloudy. It's been like that for a couple of days, and we we we, we don't get that much sunlight. Okay, and that's the first thing that we need to understand. All right, we need sun, first of all. There's no way around it. Whether we like to admit it or not, whatever theories or hoax we've heard in regards about the sun, we need it. We need the sun. It is very important to us and our being within our body, and it's being blocked. Y'all might think it's funny, but we know what happened in the Matrix movie. Watch that movie with an open mind and see what the movie is about, what it's trying to interpret to you. Now, sunglasses. Sunglasses, they cause cancer. Period. I know it sounds like a ridiculous claim, but the truth of the matter is that is just what it is. It causes cancer. But why? How could a claim be made like that without being able to provide some type of proof in regards about it? So let's get into the details of why can sunglasses cause cancer. Because they're very popular. They make us look. They make us look very good. They make us feel comfortable, and at times it boosts up our self-esteem. Our ego sometimes swells because the way it makes us look. We might get a little cocky. Most of the superstars and people on TV, they advertise sunglasses left and right, left and right, left and right. All right. So, but let's get into the why sunglasses cause cancer. Now, to start, you're filtering out some of the rays of the sun you need the most. This process of filtering the sun rays creates a certain rhythm within us. This rhythm is called the circadian rhythm. And the definition pretty much is any biological process that displays an endogenous in entrainable oscillation of 24 hours. These 24-hour rhythms are driven by a circadian clock, and they've been widely observed in plants, animals, fungi, and cyanobacteria. Okay? Now, this rhythm also happens within us. It's been studied as well, but it's not that something that we get the information given to us openly in regards about this rhythm. This rhythm, what it does during certain times of the day, I have a little scale at the bottom right here of the time of a 24-hour period of time, and certain events that happen due to these rhythms that are started because of the sun rays that the sun provides us every morning. This scale right here starts at 1 a.m. and it states that at 1 a.m. teenagers starts melatonin production. All right, that is something very very important, not just for teenagers but for all of us, all in general. I'm not gonna go into details into all of them. You could look through the video and read the rest of them. I'm gonna read through certain important ones that I want to point out. Like for example, the first one, which is teenagers melatonin production, which starts at 1 a.m. At 4 a.m. In the morning, people reaching their lowest body of temperature, which means that at that time is the time where our body temperature is at its lowest point. All right, and this happens at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's also a time adults begin production of melatonin, making them sleepy at 9 p.m. All right, and we're gonna get into the details about melatonin and what are the benefits of it, and where the production comes from. But the pineal gland, which receives the light of the sun in different color formations, meaning it receives the entire spectrum of light. It's imperative for the body to acquire this light. Okay, uh, through the circadian rhythm. All right, that's why we have a lens that breaks up the white light that the sun emits into seven colors. Okay, and I have a little illustration here that we could look into that shows you how the light comes into it. What this lens perceives is white light. Once it receives this light from the sun, it separates it into seven different colors, and it sends it directly to the pineal gland, as it passes through also through other glands like the pituitary gland. It goes if I'm not mistaken, the colostrum as well. But the main thing that we're trying to speak to today in regards about is the pineal gland, because that's where that the pineal gland is what controls all of the glands, all of them together. We're not thought about the pineal gland. We're never told about in regards about it in school, but it is something very important in our system. Now, the pineal gland, which receives the light in different colors, like color formations, like I said, meaning it receives it in the spectrum of light. It's imperative for the body to acquire this light. That's why the lens, like I stated, it breaks this light into seven colors. Now, within the pineal gland, these colors get encoded with chemicals, and then they're distributed to all the major parts um, of the body, which are needed for all types of metabolic processes. All right, and all this happens through the circadian rhythms. Now, the pineal gland has the ability to secrete melanin. It's sunlight dependent. The sun radiates full spectrums of light, striking the eye's retina nerve, stimulating the pineal gland to secrete melanin. Now, there is a very important role of of uh, of melatonin or melanin being created. We're going to go into detail about that. Now, here in the little illustration that I have, we could see that the sunlight could create different types of energy, and it improves our mood. It also helps us with our sleep patterns, so we could have better sleep patterns, so we could regenerate throughout the process of the night and wake up more energized the night before. If we don't get this spectrums of light to come in throughout the process of the day, that affects everything in our body. Now, let's see, where are we at? Let's go to the next one. Now, the pineal gland versus the third eye. What we need to understand when we talk about the pineal gland and the third eye is that they're two different things that we're speaking in regards about. The gland and the third eye. The pineal gland is the seat of the soul. Is technically speaking where the real you is sitting at. The third eye is the per se the vernaculars. We're gonna say the vernaculars that you possess to be able to perceive reality to the high to the highest extent. All right. Now, through the endocrine system, one great example of the pineal gland using this light is to create blood. To create blood, red light must be involved. There's no going around that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. To create blood, for the body to continue to create blood, it requires the spectrum of light red coming through the eyes, so it could continue to because we don't have the same blood all the time. Our blood regenerates over and over and over again, and one of the things that the pineal gland helps us with is it separates that white color of light into different spectrums of color, and one of them, like I'm telling you, is blood. For blood, the color red is required. There's no going around that. Now, what is the pineal gland? The pineal gland is an endocrine structure of the diencephalon of the brain and is located inferior and posterior to the thalamus. It is made up of pine, pine, pinealocytes. These cells produce and secrete the hormone melatonin in response to low light levels. High blood levels of melanosis of melatonin induce drowsiness. All right, so that's what controls your sleep patterns, like I mentioned earlier, and for that reason is that that drowsiness is occurred after you don't went through a whole day of collecting light. It prepares you for the evening when you're supposed to go lay your ass down and go get you some rest so you could do it again the next morning, because you could go on forever. The real you, it's in the pineal gland and the seat of the soul. And the seat of the where is the seat of the soul? It's in the temple of God. Where is the temple? Well, the side of our head is known as our temples. The reason why is because they're holding the structure of the pineal gland or the brain, where the pineal gland is encased in, where you sitting at. Where you sitting there with the binoculars, which is your third eye, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But nobody ever tells us nothing in regards about no pineal gland, about no thalamus, about no spectrums of light or nothing like that, you know. But let's continue. Now, the sun rays that sunglasses block mostly is the UV light, or ultraviolet rays. Now, if you weren't aware, UV light is fully responsible for the creation and recreation of melanin in your skin, the hue in your entire body that protects you from the sun. That's why when melanated people go out into the sun, it kisses you. But if you lack melanin, it burns you, and you're more susceptible to all types of skin cancer. And if you're not aware, the Cancer Act of 1939 clearly states that can't nobody cure cancer. Ain't no curing cancer. If this people that have the power, like the pharmaceutical companies, if they don't come up with the cure, there is no cure in it. You can't advertise it. You can't search for it. And if you do, you can't tell nobody about it. You got to go tell them first, and they got to authorize you to be able to provide this, and you ain't even gonna be able to provide it. They gonna probably take it from you, and they gonna provide the so-called cure, and that's even if they allow you to to tell anybody, you know. But the endocrine system is it's pretty much the main glands that help regulate your body functions, you know, like extracellular fluid, the metabolism, your biological clock, contraction of cardiac and smooth muscle, glandular secretions, some immune functions, growth and development, reproductions. Now, some of the glands, we have them right here: the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the thymus, the well, I don't think the trachea is, but the skin, the lungs, the liver, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, your stomach, your heart, your kidney, your small intestines, your kidneys, your testes, your scrotum, or in a woman, the uterus, and the ovary. Now, one that they're omitting right there, we're not gonna go into detail today, but it's the what is that gland? Uh, they never tell us. That's another gland that they never tell us about. There, I should have put it into the description. But it's a gland that females have, which has the power to secrete semen. We have the same thing, and since our organs are really pretty much just female organs dropped, then they possess the same thing. In other words, they do not need a man to get pregnant. That's the way it was before, due to the fact that what they eat, what they drink, the way they're born, what happens when they're born, what they inject you with, and everything else. Now they don't have that ability no more, but we're not going to get into that. I can't think of the name of the glands, but they are at the bottom of the uterus. Yeah, if I think of the name, then I'll let you guys know. But anyways, the pineal gland right here on the right is a small. It says it's a small right-sized pine cone-shaped endocrine organ regulating your daily and seasonal circadian rhythms, the sleep-wake pattern that determines your hormone levels, stress level, and physical performance. So pretty much everything that deals with your body, this endocrine system controls it. And what gives all this endocrine glands the commands is your pineal gland. And your pineal gland, in order for it to be functioning fully at its full potential, it requires sunlight. And if you're wearing glasses, not only are you making yourself more susceptible to the sun causing you some type of skin cancer, but you're also getting your entire body all discombobulated and out of whack, which is going to create, the more you continue to do so, the more you're gonna create problems in your body. Now let's continue. Now if we look at certain things and stop waiting for these people in schools to tell us everything, we will come to realize that every single cell in our body communicates through light. It's also a fact that that everyone carries an aura around them at all times, or an electromagnetic field, if you want to call it that, or a vibration, a frequency that surrounds our entire body. I have an illustration here for everybody now. This aura has 7 different stages or layers in which it protects your body, but that aura could be altered or interrupted if you're doing the wrong things. Now, Dr. Sevi told us clearly, and he explained to us how we were energy, and we required an energy-based diet to survive. Now, one of the spectrums of sunlight is what keeps that aura or magnetic field going. If disrupted or interrupted, it becomes the equivalent of taking sunlight from a plant. You wither away faster, you grow old faster, and death be coming knocking at your door a whole lot sooner. You got wrinkles at a young age. Bet you like sunglasses. I mean, not saying that is the cause of it, but it is a very, very possible theory because of it, especially if you're always wearing glasses, trying to be cool, But if you're not aware, every year you begin with a brand new set of cells. Your body regenerates every year. You don't start off the year with the same cells that you had before. But in order for that regeneration to happen, and for this aura to continue to regenerate itself and continue to protect you from everything around you, you need sunlight. And if you're wearing sunglasses, you ain't gonna get no sunlight. Ain't no ants, ain't no ifs, ain't no going around that. Your body was created perfect. Uh, every year, evolving to defend you from anything and everything it encounters without the need of no damn substance you must inject or that you gotta drink or anything like that. Everything you need is before you, unless you or something willfully blocks it out of you, or alters it, then that's when all this vibration, all this energy, all this aura, all this sunlight, all this sun rays, all this violet rays that don't come and activate your pineal gland. Uh, uh, Without the pineal gland activating, we're in serious trouble. There is no ands, no ifs, no buts about it, and they know this. The people in power know this. They are very well aware of this, and they keep this within this information within them. Now, um, when we look at religion and the chakras, um, when we chakras or spirituality, however you may want to see it, but when you look at both of them, religion and spirituality, we come to find out that religion is the personification of events that happen within our very body, and they placed everything out of our reach. Literally took everything from within us and made a big story out of it, and now we're waiting for some dude to fall out the sky and come save us. He gonna come in a cloud or some weird shit off the wall like that. And that's not gonna happen. Now somebody is gonna come from the sky, from the clouds and all that. But what you guys expecting ain't what you guys gonna get. And when you guys get what's coming, then you ain't gonna know what the hell is going on, and then the process is gonna start occurring where the age of Pisces, which is the age of religion and faith, will start to fade away little by little, and that new source of power or control is gonna start revealing itself, and we gonna accept that shit because we ain't gonna know. Our ignorance is gonna completely take over what what we perceive as reality. All right. Now, spirituality, on the other hand, has been demonized and made look like into some type of mythology or something like that. But now, if we study the sacred secretion or the chrism, now better known as the Christ within, we can understand the Jesus story, the Santa Claus story, and many other stories that they have placed upon us, that they have forced upon us since birth. You don't get a choice to decide if you're religious, or if you want to be a Buddhist, or if you want to be a Christian or not. Whatever country you're born, you are bound by that religion. You are bound by it. There is no ands, there's no ifs or whatever. You might not like it and you might do something different or not follow it thoroughly, but you ain't gonna believe nothing different. And if you do, you're gonna be looked at different just over the fact that you believe something different. But if we look at the sacred secretion, let me read this real fast for you. The sacred secretion and the cerebral palsal fluid, or the Christ within. The anointing is the secretion, a substance once named chrism. The origin of the word Christ being anointed or anointed. The Christ within us all is born in the sacral plexus, or the sacred place, where the five fused vertebrates, which is at the bottom of your ass, of the spine meet. The Christ seed is born here and begins his journey up through the 33 vertebrates to be crucified and amplified in power. Now remember, the number 33 is used a whole lot through the Bible. You know, we had well, first of all, we have 33 vertebrates. Jesus Christ started his teaching at 33 years old. If I'm not mistaken, Jesus Christ, he did 33 miracles, you know, so he performed 33 miracles, and so on and so forth. We see the number 33 just a plethora of times throughout the whole process of the Bible. Now, when it comes, let's continue. When it meets the pituitary and pineal, after spending 3 days in the hypothalamus or the tomb, it creates a circuit causing the secretion of DMT, which emulates honey. And serotonin, which emulates milk. When the seed and oil is preserved and returned, you in short reach the promised land and become a perfect antenna for prayer. You walk through the gates of nirvana. All right. If you haven't heard the song or you don't know the story, then I suggest you do. You know, I'm not gonna get into nirvana, rock and roll, or not like that. I grabbed this for. I found this on the internet. I liked it. What it was. How it put the information together, and I used it. But let's continue. Like it's stating to you, you know, this secretion, you know, after it travels through your 33 vertebrates, and it dies, and it stays you know, it stays there for 3 days and 3 nights. Then you know, if you've done what you're supposed to, and you're living a healthy life, and you're not sexually active at the present time, you could literally use this secretion and return it to its origin, return it to heaven. It will rise to heaven after it's been anointed by DMT and serotonin, honey and milk. And once it get there, it's amplified by 1,000, giving you the power to be able to see God. This is when you find the source, the one. And once you find the source, you come to find out that it's you. It ain't no dude in the sky. It ain't no story about nobody coming in, you know, in no clouds. It's you. The whole story is about us, and us coming from a womb, man, meaning that we came from the divine feminine, from the cosmic womb. Everything comes from a woman. We're not gonna get into detail about that right now. That will be another presentation. But let's continue. Now, the pineal gland, the third eye, and chakras are all over the Bible, and the Bible and the world, and are venerated in plain sight. But our ignorance, but the ignorance imposed upon us, won't let us see this fact. You know, the Pope himself, he has a pineal cone and the staff that he carries around all the time. All the Buddhist temples in the Asian cultures, they all have cone shapes everywhere, especially the Buddha. He has a cone-shaped head. We find cone shapes all over the world. You know, in Egypt, in South America, North America. There's sites where they have the Anunnaki sacred writings or whatever. They're using, you know, or venerating the pineal gland or whatever. So it's something that is venerated all over. Now, if we look at the Book of Revelations, I grabbed this this little meme or picture right here that I want to read to you guys, which the number 144,000 is being used a lot throughout the Bible, and it's also being used to keep us under control now. but we're not gonna get into that part. We're just gonna talk into the religious part of this and the spiritual part of this. But it says the book of Revelation is all about the seven chakras. It mentions the number 7 55 times. 7 churches, 7 letters, 7 spirits, 7 lamps, 7 stars, 7 seals, 7 horns, 7 eyes, 7 angels, 7 trumpets, 7 heads, 7 crowns, 7 plagues, 7 bowls, 7 hills, 7 kings, 7 visions, etc., etc., etc. The number of 144,000 in the book of Revelation is also in regards to the 7 chakras. When taken literally, it represents the exact number of souls that will ascend to God. In Kundalini Yoga, they teach that each of the 7 chakras is a frequency of light energy that can easily get blocked by negative emotions. We all know that emotions is what the whole human body is based out of, because emotions is emotions. It's energy in motion. It's energy looking to manifest itself through the motion of actions. Okay, where were we at? Through emotion, thoughts during the course of development. The symbol for the root chakra has 4 petals. Navel chakra has 6 petals. Solar plex chakra has 10 petals. Heart chakra has 12. And the throat chakra has 16, which equals 48. Now, the third eye chakra is represented by the number 96. Yet, it only has 2 petals. This is because it is 2 times as powerful as the 5 lower chakras, which add up to 48. 2 times 48 is 96. The crown chakra, which is the top of your head, the heaven of your body, is said to be 1,000 times more powerful than the lower 6 chakras. So when you add up the lower 6 chakras, you get 4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 12 plus 16 plus 96, which equals to 144. Then you times the 144 times 1,000, which gives you a total of 144,000. Hence, when you relieve yourself from karmatic debt, self-judgment, you will emit the highest frequency of light and will no longer have to return to this realm of form. All right? Now in here, I also have, because this 140, the process of aligning your chakras and getting this energy to 144,000 is also spoken about in the Bible through Jacob, because he's the one that struggled with God. And the story, we find it in Genesis 32, verses 23 to 30, in the King James Version of the KJV. And it says, and he took them and felt them over the brook, and felt that he had, and Jacob was left alone. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when I saw that I have prevailed not against him, I have touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of his joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let you go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask for my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the place of the place Pineal, for I have seen God face to face, and my life was preserved. Jacob called the place where he met God in Genesis 32, 23 to 30. He called this place
Pineal, because this is the place where he wrestled with God and with men. Why did he wrestle with men? Because he had to fight himself. He had to fight his ego and get himself under control so he could align himself and he could become the God that he was meant to be. Once he reached the heaven and was able to align himself and he returned the secretion back to his to his temple, it was amplified by 1,000, giving him the highest frequency of light, which is 144,000, and he no longer required to be in this form or this realm. And that's why God blessed him and gave him the blessing so he could move the hell on. I keep telling everybody that the Bible is just a book full of past stories that have been taken from within our body and taken out and personified. That's all they've done. They've taken what we have, our God, our own self, and they took it from outside of us. It ain't no dude coming to save us. Family, you need to realize that. It don't matter if you paint this dude black, white, purple, green. You could paint him the whole colors of the chakras. This dude ain't coming. Somebody is coming. But our ignorance is going to make us bow down before the new source of enslavement unless we wake the fuck up. Now, the indoctrination system is the very foundation of all religions. Once we understand this, not understand this, because when you understand this, you're underestimating yourself. So you gotta understand it. You gotta understand these facts, and then we'll all be able to rise above all the deceit. Now I have an illustration here for everybody where it shows you the chakras and the endocrine glands and the organs, and I'm gonna read through you a real quick story in regards about raising the chrism, Santa Claus, Joseph and Mary, and the crucifixion. All right, and it says the pineal gland or Joseph secretes the milk. The pituitary gland or Mary secretes the honey, both from the same source, the colostrum or the Santa Claus. All right. The two sacred oils travel down into the solar plexus via the semilunar ganglion pneumogastric nerve. All right, that's a fancy term for saying that it goes down your spinal cord. All right. The psychophysical germ, the fruit of the tree of life, is born in the solar plexus, the manger. All right. The Ida red or the Pingala blue, two numerous fluids, where at the crossing of the medulla oblongata, the crucifixion takes place, where it rests for 2.5 days. Now, the sacred oil, after it's resuscitated, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, don't think that this shit just happens. But the sacred oil returns to the crossing, the crucifixion. It enters the cerebellum or the Golgotha, the place of the skull. The fluid crystals refined by 1,000 times fold, therefore giving you the total frequency of light, the highest frequency of light of 144,000. Now, right here on the right, I have a couple of things that you could that you might be able to do if you want to start off by trying to heal your third eye chakra. Some crystals that you might want to use. It says apply chakra stones such as I'm not good at pronouncing these names, but the amethyst, the purple fluorite, the moonstone, the quartz, the lapis lazuli, the light chakra stone. Now some essential oils. You could use the juniper, clary sage, rosemary, sandalwood, rosemary, lemon, clary sage, thyme, and juniper. Some chakra foods that are good for your third eye are figs, grapes, prunes, eggplants, cabbage, and with purple color, purple potatoes, and purple kale. Yoga for healing is very good of your third eye chakra. There's certain mantras that I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce, but you could read them right here on the present on the screen. It's also healing reflexology, sound therapy, meditation, and natural healing. All right, you could check any of those out and try any of those little things for your third eye chakra healing if you're interested. Now, the third eye is also venerated worldwide and put into plain sight while depicting an evil story to create fear. Because with fear, you control the masses. The third eye provides full vision of the light and spectrum it receives to the pineal gland, the seat of the soul, the place where the real you resides. All right, another place where it makes in the Bible where it makes reference to the pineal gland and the third eye will be in Matthew 6:22. And it says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. This is what Christ was telling Matthew. He told him, now repeat, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single as in one eye, your pineal, thy whole body should be full of light. Once you align yourself and you acquire the full spectrum of light at 144,000, you will be full of light and become the God that you were meant to be. Now, like I said, is the third eye. It's also venerated and depicted all around the world. Here, some of them, is depicted in religion. It's in our money. It's obviously in spirituality chakras, like in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Catholicism also venerates it away as well. The Eye of Horus or Ra in ancient Egypt is also a veneration of the third eye. We find it in St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican, in the city of Italy. They have depictions of the third eye all around their buildings, whatever you want to call their sanctuaries or whatever. But this is something that has been kept and taken away from our common knowledge, and now it's been created and personified into a story that happened outside of us and not within us. And if we don't come to terms with the fact that we are all gods brought forth by a goddess, by a divine feminine. Everything in this realm is brought forth by a woman. There is no going around that. Whether you like to admit it or not, or whether your ego through the roof or whatever, this whole we all came from a rib. You know, it's just stupidity, family. It's just plain stupidity. And they're using our ignorance against us. Now, if we search, because he who searches shall find. If we search, we will come to find out the truth in regards about what really is going on with this situation that they presented us with. Now I'll leave you with that. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Please share the video in your groups, in your timeline. If you watch the video later, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch the information that I've provided. With that said, I want to wish the whole family good night, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace.